Good morning. Welcome to Time in His Word. We've all run into that individual, be it a man or a woman, that there's something about them. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as a personality conflict. You've never said nothing to each other, but there's just something there that keeps you from clicking or being social to each other. You're courteous, but your answers are short and you go on your way as quickly as possible. These type of individuals always seem to have a real cold heart, a real bad disposition about everything. It's the type of person that would complain if you hung them with a brand new rope because the kinks weren't worked out of it yet. And we've all run into them. And I've never figured out how somebody can get so cold-hearted like that, and we can look at Pharaoh in the Old Testament when Moses was asking him to let the Israelites loose. And every time he would say yes, and then as they would get ready to leave, he would change his mind. And then Moses would God through Moses would cause plagues. But each time it hardens Pharaoh's heart against God. And I think sometimes no matter who you are, you have to watch that, because it's easy to get a hard, callous heart against either someone or something or just in general. And it's not good. It's that, you run into those type of people and you can almost spot them right off the bat, and you kind of stay away from them. You stay away from them because you just know it's not going to be a very good visit. And it just, I've always felt for those people and always wondered how they got to that point to have such a hard heart towards everybody and anything. And in Ezekiel, the 36th chapter, verse 26 says, "Moreover, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you, and I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh." This passage is telling me that even the worst of persons with the hardest of hearts that you've ever met, God can change them if they are willing to be changed. That's the key, though. If you're not willing to be changed, God can't change you. God can't work within you because you're resisting Him. And in the next verse, verse 27, it says, "I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and you will be careful to observe my ordinances." In other words, observe the laws of the Bible and stuff. But, I guess what I'm getting at is with this passage saying that I will give you a new heart, no matter how hard, I'll get it spit out in a minute. No matter how hard your heart is or how callous you are towards people, God can change you. I met a man one time, he's since passed, and he was a Vietnam veteran. And a friend of mine had been witnessing to him for a number of years, but he was always reluctant to give in. He didn't really have a hard heart, but he kept saying he'd done things that were too bad that God could never forgive him. And one day we were in town, we went to have lunch, and he wanted to go to a bar and grill so he could have a beer. Well, I went to lunch with him, and I had a soda, and the food was good. I enjoy, usually a lot of times at those bars and grills like that, got some pretty good food, but we visited, didn't talk about the Bible or nothing, just little stuff, runs we'd had, things like that. And a couple years later, after he had passed, I found out from my friend that had the biggest impact on the witness that my friend had been doing to him, was me to go to lunch with him to a bar, because he said he would have never expected me to do that. But I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't drink. I can go there. But so we never know how we can affect somebody who has a hard heart just by a simple going to lunch with them. You don't have to talk anything about the Bible, just your actions, and you might not even know that you're having that impact. Before he passed, he accepted Christ as his personal Savior and was baptized. And I got to visit with him a couple of days before he before he passed, and we had a good visit. And we talked about just a little bit about everything. And before I left, he said, I'm ready. He said, I appreciate you guys. He said, I'm ready, and I know where I'm going to spend eternity. Thank you. And I had never witnessed to him other than just normal conversation about whatever and going to lunch with him that day. But what I'm getting at is we never know the impact we're having on people, be it someone who has a hard heart and just as callous as can be, or someone who just isn't really ready to accept Christ. We really don't know the impact we're going to have on that individual. But this passage says it all. Moreover, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you, and I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. Think about that the next time you're visiting with somebody and you're talking to them about Christ. Just think about the impact you can have without realizing you're doing anything.